This is my unboxing video of my new Anova Sous Vide immersion circulator. This is one of the first of a series of new immersion circulators that are available in the $200 to $350 range, including Sanzer and Nomico, which the latter two being Kickstarter projects that brought the cost of sous vide equipment significantly down. As you can see, it's a pretty nice box. I have here the oops, maybe a little bit too close. Serial number, unplugged before cleaning, and then you can see also that their website is www.sousvide.com. So I'm gonna go ahead and box down again. It's pretty nice, a sizable box, and then I'm gonna go and open it up. So you basically, it's a slide out box, a nice glossy one, and then once you pull out the box, you then get this. So you pull this up, and then you see both the shipping, Anova Culinary LLC. Anova, by the way, is a company that, at least according to their website, has been making immersion circulators for professional applications for a while. And the thing that was interesting about this one was that originally it was being sold for $2.99, and then just more recently they moved down to $1.99. I think in reaction to Sanzer offering a $1.99 project via Kickstarter, and they're supposed to ship in November. The Anova one has been out for a while, and it's interesting also that they provide the manual in a USB flash card instead of as a written manual. And then you can see here, this is the standard power cord, and then this is the unit itself. It's actually pretty big. And from my case, I decided to buy this primarily because of the the cost of $299. I think that was a reaction to the Sanzer being much cheaper. So here's the unit. You can see it has a pretty stable grip where you can then clamp it to a pot or a water bath. And then this is the metal housing. And then you can see through the grills, you can see that there's the heater coil, and then there's also an impeller in there to allow you to rotate, to allow you to move the water around. And I remember when I was going through the specs, the Anova one had actually a pretty nice water circulation spec. And then here you can see the this basically touch screen display. And the unit itself comes in 3 colors, if I remember correctly. It was blue, red, and black, and I decided to get the black one. So let me go ahead and put this down, and then I'll continue once I have the unit in water. So I was trying to get a better feeling for the unit before I plugged it in, and here are a couple of features that I read on the forums before buying it. Obviously you can see here, pretty sturdy metal structure covering the impeller as well as the heating element, and then you can see there's a min and max temperature, water level, so that you can see easily when you put the unit in the water bath where you need to keep the water. And then you can see down here where the propeller is, there's a small hole which you can use to direct the direction of your water flow. So this is something that you can use to control in case you have a different types of containers, like some of them are square, or if you want to move it, push it forward into the middle if you have a lot of items, or if you want to push it against the walls of a round pot. This thing also unscrews. Let me go ahead and finish it out. Exposing the impeller. The impeller is basically just a fan, like a small fan that pushes the water around and then creates the water circulation that you need. Now, in addition to the impeller, you can actually turn this whole thing. Let's see if I can do this. Thanks. Oh, okay, so I'm back. I just basically loosened it a little bit. So if you turn this a little bit more, you can then remove this metal piece, which is basically here to protect anything that might be in the bath away from the heating coil, as well as the impeller, which you can see now. And this is all solid stainless steel. And the other advantage also is that you can go ahead and you clean the heating element in case something builds up. And so you can clearly see the unit. Let me try to go around. You have three metal pipes, which I'm assuming contains the electrical heater elements. Then you have some sort of pipe here, which I'm not sure what it does. Right, and then you have the main long metal thing, which has the impeller, which rotates like that. Okay, otherwise, I think that's pretty much it. That's the majority of the moving parts. You have here the screw that holds it to the that you can use to fasten the whole unit to a pot or any other type of device. And then you can see here in the back, this is where the power plug goes, and I'm actually not sure what this button it does. Maybe it's the on and off switch, but I'll find that out when I have a chance to power on the unit. Okay. So I went ahead and just plugged in the Anova USB stick, and I'm going to go check out the manual that's on the stick. So the manual itself is just basically one file on the USB stick. You can see it's about 302 kilobytes. I'm not sure why they decided to do it this way, but it's fairly practical for me, so I don't mind. Let's power this up and see what's on the manual. So you can see the operating manual, and the company logo and so forth in PDF, and let's go ahead and see what they have. I think others have already posted online the manual, so you can get that elsewhere. Just checking quickly the table of contents. Okay, let me read through this and then I'll share more with you later. By the way, this is my actual shipment was delayed a little bit because they were doing an update to the latest 2.0 firmware, so I'm going to go and check that when I power on the unit. So a couple of specs, technical specs. You can see that this is a ASV pipe 2.0 system. Temperature is between room temperature and 99 C. Of course, at 100 C, the water will evaporate, turn into steam. Temperature stability is 0.1 C, and heating power is 1 kilowatt max. The circulation is 12 LPM, liters per minute, and it's a input power of 15, 110 volts, 115 to 120. So we already did the walkthrough on the actual unit, but here's a diagram, and I was able to confirm that 2 is the on-off switch, and another nice feature, of course, number 4 is a fuse, and then of course down at the bottom is the directional water flow jet, where you can control where the jet of water goes out of the unit. Here's a quick overview of the software once the unit is up and running. So just going to look at it briefly. You can see Anova screen, what you can use to change the temperature. You can run the system both in Fahrenheit or in Celsius, and then you can set the temperature. You have timers, and then there'll be readouts which you can use to see what the actual temperature is at the point of the water bath itself. One of the features that they've introduced since the first initial firmware and release of the product is the ability to calibrate the system temperature. As you can see here, it comes pre-calibrated, but it's nice to see that they've actually documented now the process. They actually have, I think now, it used to be hidden, but now they have the plus minus, which they can use to calibrate the system. I'm not planning to calibrate mine, but I'll just wait and see. So the manual is actually pretty short. I'm actually at page 14 of 16. after the calibration, you now have some tips and tricks, what books, vacuum clean sealers, and so forth. I read a lot about the Anova, so I'm actually just skipping this. You can see the warranty, limited warranty, and then the last page is basically a troubleshooting fact. So that's pretty much it in regards to the manual. I'm going to continue later with the, when I turn on the machine. Just one more thing before I move over to turning on the unit. Just something I noticed earlier, but I forgot to show, was apparently the unit does have some international independent domestic patents pending. So always good to see that there's some innovation being done and that people think are worthwhile patenting. So here's, I went ahead and put the unit into a pot. Something that was mentioned on the forums before was that the unit is pretty tall, so you need a pretty tall pot as well. Let me go ahead and use a show you guys how long the unit is and how high it needs to be. So basically, from the bottom of the pot, and now you can see that you need at least a pot that is about 7 inches tall, so that you can properly use the clamp. Otherwise, basically your pot will be too small, and the unit will be standing pretty much like you can see below in the base of the pot. Now, it's not very stable, so I think if you have you should make sure that you have something else that's holding the pot and the unit properly before. I don't recommend doing it like this, especially with all the electronics. So let me just go ahead and loosen this up, and then let's see if we can set this I don't know, like an 8-inch or 9-inch pot, and then let's go ahead and put this down there. See, it now hangs on the lip, and then there's some distance now. Actually, no, it's actually sitting pretty snug at the bottom. So it's actually resting on the bottom, and then here it's just enough clearance so that you can snap this in. And I'm going to tighten this up. Okay. And you can see, tipping the pot, the unit is held pretty securely. And I'll continue after I put some power and some water into the pot. Oh, just a quick intermediate shot here. Started filling up the water, and then right now it's at the minimum level. I'm going to go ahead and just fill it up since this is a test run to about halfway between max and min. Okay, so the water in the pot is about halfway between max and min. I've been pretty much just using water directly out of my tap to fill this up. Turned it all the way to hot, but it takes a little bit for my water to get hot. So it's pretty much a mix between slightly colder water, lukewarm, and slightly warming. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on the unit. Okay, so everything's quiet still while this is. And let's see how well this works, with me not reading anything. So just usability of the interface. We have set time. I'm gonna just start with the temperature. Nice touchscreen interface. Let's see. I don't even know whether I'm on C or on Fahrenheit. Let's see. 60. Actually, let me get it out of here, and then, I don't know, time. Okay, so basically you can click on it. It's a pretty straightforward interface. The one thing I'm missing here is, why isn't there any indication whether this is Fahrenheit or not? Anyway, I'll read the manual and see if. So let me just go ahead, try to set the temperature, 20 degrees, let's do 60, hoping that this is Celsius, and then hit check. Of course the unit is not on yet, but let's go ahead and start. There you go. And then you can hear a slight hum. It's actually not that bad. It's getting a little bit louder. Okay. For me it's not that bad, but I know that some folks have said that it is a bit of a noise. It's not completely quiet. And then you can see there's quite a bit of circulation going on here. Yep, feels pretty light. And then as now is when they show me that it's at roughly 30°C, so about room temperature, and then set temperature 60. So no timer's been set, and then I can go ahead and hit stop, but I'm going to just go and let the water heat up and see what happens. So it's circulating a little bit between 30 and 29, and it's slowly heating up. Take a look at the water. That's a lot. That's really nice to see that there's quite a bit of circulation going on. I was a little bit skeptical with that small impeller. Of course, there's not a lot of water in this pot, but also with the small impeller and the small hole, I was a little bit worried. And it looks really good. And then it's running at 31°C. I'm going to go check quickly. It's about 2 o'clock, 2:08, and I'll start this back when the water's reached its target temperature. It's about 2 minutes later. I was thinking my first experiment will be with a sous vide egg. So if you actually went and did a search on Google for egg sous vide, you'll find a chart like this. There are several different ones, and you can see the temperature dependency, and it's actually a very small range. It's only about 6 Celsius between when the egg is watery at 60 to about 68 when it's fully hard boiled. What I'm going to be shooting for is 63. So where the yolk is, the white is solid, maybe 64. Anyway, somewhere between 63 and 64, where the yolk is solid. What does it say there? Yolk creamy but not set. That sounds better. So 63. So what I need to do, so like I said earlier, is I need to change the temperature. It looks like I need to hit stop in order for this to happen. But just as I was trying to point out earlier, it's about 2 to 3. It's now 3 minutes in, and you can see the temperature is rising pretty fast. It went pretty much 10 degrees, 10, 11 degrees, almost 12 degrees within 3 minutes. So I'm going to go see what happens when I hit stop in order to see if I can change the temperature. Okay, so hitting stop does cause the unit to turn off. I'm going to go hit set temperature, increase it to 63. Right, this is pretty straightforward. Okay, so you can see it's 63, temperature is still going up. And the next question will be, of course, how long should I do this? So what's the cooking time? So they just talk about the temperatures, but I'm not sure what the cooking time should be. Let me see if I can figure that out, and I'll be right back. Okay, it's about 10 minutes. I was spending the time just looking for the right cooking time, and I thought I'd wait until 10 minutes since we started the Anova immersion circulator, and you can see that we're almost close to the target temperature. It's 57°C. The pot is actually it's getting hot, so if you hold it, it's hot to the touch, and I wouldn't keep my hand there very long because I'd burn myself. So I'm expecting it in a couple of minutes to start slowing down once it hits the target temperature. You can see in the water, you can see there's a lot of bubbles now, and we still have good circulation. Interestingly enough, coming back to my first experiment, which will be a soft-cooked egg, I had to go back to the competition. This is actually the Sous Vide Supreme for a table with cooking times, and so basically I have a choice. I can either do quick cook or slow cook, and to ranges between 18 minutes and 45 minutes. I'm going to go and do a 45-minute egg cook, and basically what I'm going to be using is a grade A large brown eggs, organic ones that my wife buys. So, and you can see I'll just be picking one of these guys and dropping it in as soon as we get close to the target temperature, which should be in a couple of more minutes. We're at almost 60 at about, I'd say 11 minutes in. So 60 at 11 minutes in. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. You can see, just might have missed it. The temperature hit 63. I'm just going to check and see if, wanted to see if there was any changes. And it looks like the impeller just keeps on going. There's no change in motor speed or anything like that. Oh, there is a change. Okay, so what is this? So change to a different temperature screen. I guess it's showing you that it's reached its target temperature. So we have 63.1, and that's roughly 14 minutes after. So starting from 30C, we hit 63C in about 14 minutes, and then the screen turns on. Oh, look, changed again. So I can actually, this is actually pretty practical. I can set the timer. I was originally actually going to think I'm going to stop it because the Sous Vide Supreme recommends 63.5, and then I wanted to set the timer. But given that the timer is here, I'm going to go and set the timer for 45 minutes. I want to do it a little bit longer because the egg is basically coming out from the refrigerator, so it's a little cold. And then given that it's a sous vide system, I don't really need to worry about overcooking it too much unless I leave it too long. And let me go ahead and see. I wish the timer thing would get back again. Let me see if I could click on it. Okay, it does seem to cycle through the... I was worried that if I pressed something it would... Oh, great! So if you hit the screen and don't hit the stop, it does cycle through the different displays, including where I can set the timer. So let me go ahead and do that. Set timer. Yeah, touchscreen is really easy. So let me go ahead and start the timer. I'm not too worried about the exact time. See the timer reading here. I'm going to go ahead and use some thongs because this is a pretty tall pot, as you can see. It's really tall. And then I'm expecting when I put the egg in that it'll actually fall. Whoa! That's hot water. Oh yeah, it's going. Let's see. I'm actually expecting it to go to the far right corner, but I guess it's not. Okay, let's wait until it cooks. So I'll see you in about 45 minutes. And then it's, oh, interesting. So the temperature dropped a little bit because of, again, I don't know if it was because of the egg. Okay, be back in a couple. Okay, I'm back. Actually, I'm not sure how many minutes have passed. I definitely know that it's past the 45 that I'd set. I wanted to point out, I think there are a couple of things that I learned about the immersion circulator, and some things that could be fixed. So first off, what typically happens, and this happened to me a while ago, is that the screen goes blank. Okay, to save, I guess, battery and so forth after a certain amount of time. So one thing that you need to be careful about is that when you wake it up, you press on the top of the screen, right? Because if you hit the bottom part of the screen when it's black, you could potentially hit the stop and then everything stops. That actually happened to me earlier, so that's not a good thing. And then I basically restarted it, set the timer again. Okay, and then it should have been obvious, but the next mistake I made is that I set 20 minutes and then 0000. That's not correct. That's 20 hours 0000. So when I set this, I'm at least 53 minutes into a cook cycle, so the egg should be perfect, plus whatever time I had beforehand when I originally set the timer. Anyway, the temperature has been pretty constant. You can see the egg is there, and then I'm just going to go ahead and pull it out, hit stop, and see what happens. Actually, I'm going to do another thing, just for your interest. I noticed that the temperature when you stop it starts really fluctuating a bit. Also, I want to go ahead and set the timer for maybe like a minute just to see what happens when the timer actually runs out. So first stop, then I'm going to go ahead and set time. Just do 5. Hit start. Yep, that's 5 minutes. Apparently there is a minimum limit of 5 minutes. And then you saw earlier, see, it's fluctuating 29. So unless the 28, right? So the temperature does fluctuate quite a bit when there's no circulation. You can hear it from the sound that the impeller is now at full speed, and then I'm expecting it to slowly get back to 63 degrees as soon as and then stay there fairly stable when it hits the target temperature. So we still have about 4 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and hit pause and wait until it runs down a little bit more. I'm expecting also that the reading will change back to 30 as well in a couple of minutes. So I'll be right back. Sorry, I came back a little bit earlier. I just wanted to show you guys something. Initially, the egg was actually pretty stable, but you can see it's being pushed around quite a bit. See, it's rolling around. Interestingly, it hasn't gotten caught in that corner there, so I don't know if that's something to do with the water flow or what. And it wasn't doing this earlier. My guess is it has something to do with the cooking state of the egg. So I think something has changed, and that's part of the reason why the egg moves a little bit more. Oh, there it seems to be caught in a certain turbulence. Oh, turning around, gets close, gets pushed out again. Okay, still 2 minutes to go. We'll be back in a minute. Okay, we're down to our last minute, so we should be waiting for the countdown and see what happens. I heard that the timer has a couple of different modes. I didn't change anything. One mode would be for it to just turn off automatically. The other mode would be to do some type of alarm. So I'm interested to see what mode we have. The other thing I wanted to point out is that it's been maybe about an hour that the machine has been on, and I haven't seen any noticeable loss of water. It's not that long, so hopefully that's a good sign, and then you most likely will get a better result depending on how much surface is exposed. Worst result is depending on how much surface is exposed, or how much insulation your container has. Okay, down to the last 7, 6, 5. Let's see what happens. Okay, so I guess I'm in the mode where it stops. And there we go. There we have our egg. Let's go ahead and fish it out, and then okay. I'm excited to see what my first sous vide egg looks like. Let's put it out. I'm gonna go get something to crack it open, and then I'll be right back. So I cracked it open, and so I just cracked the egg open, and I noticed the white is still a little bit watery. So I'm gonna keep on going and see how bad it is. I don't know if I should have cooked it higher, but let's see. Okay, I've cracked it up a little bit more, and I guess this didn't work quite right. You can see that it's pretty soft, and underneath there, just the outer skin is hard, but this is like a soft boiled egg. Let me try to see what I can do. So the egg white is pretty soft, so I'm just going to go and try to use a spoon here, and you'll see that it's going to be, yep, not that great. Anyway, so much, that was my first experiment in cooking sous vide. I don't know, I guess I'll need to make it either hotter or colder, or not so sure, but I'll figure it out next time. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Bye. Okay, sorry, one last one. I basically pulled the egg out and noticed that the yolk actually inside is actually more firm. You can see, let me just clean up my, and you can see there's parts here that are firmer, and then you see some of the yolk here is starting to get hard. But then over here, I can see that's a nice creamy. So I need to go and do my homework again, just check what's going on, but you can see that it's nice and creamy. But for some reason, the egg white is like super soft. Okay, thanks. Last time. Bye for now.